What is the best folder structure for a React application? As a student, it's not easy to learn React, more especially if you are learning from YouTube. You watch this video today and you see a folder named context. And then tomorrow you watch another video and you see a folder called store. Well, you might think that these folders are holding different contexts. When you get into it, you'll find out that this is the same thing. Context folder and the store folder, it's almost like the same thing. Then you ask yourself, what is the best folder structure? I'm Matthew Msengati. I am the designer and the developer from South Africa. In this video, I am going to share with you for the first time my own framework. It's some sort of a school of thought and I call it MatPattern. It's going to help you to solve this problem. I'm going to give you the best way to go about it. If you like content like this, please don't forget to subscribe. Let's just jump straight into it. Let's talk about the application structure, okay, in React. Okay. There's a lot of ways, if I can be honest. There's a lot of terminology, there's a lot of folders, there's a lot of approach. For instance, let me just give you an idea of the folder structure when it comes to React application. You must have hooks, a folder called hooks where you save your own hooks. You might have utils folder. To be honest, I don't really know what are utils. You might have helpers, which is your helper function. Any function that helps you to achieve something. To me, it always feels like also that, so that's what the utils folder is for. Like it's some sort of mini code that helps you to achieve something. You've got your context, okay, which is that will help you to store variables globally. But at the same time, you might find this folder on another project named as store, okay? Then inside there, you will find your context files, meaning that you store things globally. So just by looking at that, okay, you can see that there's a lot of, what can I say? There's a lot of chaos around React and the folder structure, okay? So the MatPattern, okay, will help us to, in fact, it will help you, or it has helped me to at least bring a structure or order into my file structure without being too opinionated, but at the same time provide or lays down a foundation as to how do I think about building an application in React. Okay, cool. So let's get into some sort of the essence. Okay, let's say you are creating a React application or a modern JavaScript application. Okay, this is what I've realized. Number one, you've got the foundation layer. Okay, you've got the foundation layer. Okay, you've got the foundation layer. And in this foundation layer, okay, what is important is you are using a framework. Okay, you are using a framework. Okay, a framework. Okay, which is, this might be React, this might be Vue, this might be Angular. Okay, even though I'm a React developer, or this is more like React centric, or this idea came about from using React, but here I'm a bit general just to give you an idea. Okay, you've got a framework. So if you are building modern JavaScript application, you will use a framework. Okay, this is something you cannot bypass. Okay, you cannot say I'm going to create a method that does 1 2 3 without building it on top of a framework. Okay, we are assuming that you are using maybe these framework, React, Vue, or Angular. Okay, so as you can see, this is something that you cannot avoid. You cannot delete it. You cannot say, you cannot skip this stage. Okay, cool. And then from then, on top of this framework that you are building on top of, okay, or that we are building on, okay, on top of this framework, you will have libraries. Okay, okay, let's say you will have, let's say, shared CN as a library. You will have React hook form as a library or a package. You will have, let's say, material UI as a library or a package. The list goes on. Okay, We've got the framework. On top of the framework, you will put a library. Okay. Also, this is a layer that you can avoid. Okay. At some point, you will install something. Okay. So on top of that, okay, you will have the application domain. Okay. Okay. On top of that, I think, okay, I will change that. On top of that, you will have, I'm just going to type here app domain. Okay. Okay. Now here things are starting to be interesting. Okay. Maybe this is something that you have never heard before. Okay. Obviously some people might have heard about it, but it was phrased differently. But this is what I mean about the app domain. Okay. There are things that are common in any application. They are not the library, they are not React, they are not a package, okay? But they are always there, okay? It's like when you are creating an app, they must be there, okay? They are not a library and they are not a framework. What are those things, okay? Let's say you are working on any project, okay? On any React project, and in this React project, you are working with themes, okay? A light mode and a dark mode, okay? So if you look at the theme functionality, okay? Theme functionality, however you are implementing it, okay? It has got nothing to do with a certain package, okay? Like you can have all the packages here, ShadCN, Material UI, but this theme code, or let's say theme module, can still apply, okay? And it applies not only in this application that we're building, it applies in all applications, okay? It applies anywhere. Cool. And then we've got maybe let's say you've got okay, in this theme application, okay, let's say the app, usually it has got its own colors, okay? Now, what you want to do, you want to create apps very quick and simple, okay? You just put one color there, let's say the primary color of the brand or the company, it's blue, okay? And then you want to quickly generate shades of blue from that blue, so that maybe when you hover, then it can show a lighter version of the same color, okay? You don't want to be caught up in coming up with different color schemes and how they work. So let's say you created a module, okay? Let's call this module let's say color palette generator, okay? So meaning that whenever you're creating an application, you just put a color here and then you are done. You will never have to deal with color in your entire application, okay? You will just use primary, secondary, and tertiary. How those are going to be generated, this module will help you to create a primary color from this red, a secondary color which is dark red, a tertiary color which is light red, okay? As you can see, this module color palette generator, okay, it's not a framework, it's not a library, okay? It's like a module that you can use anywhere, okay? You can always use it. So we've got the app domain, okay? All the things that are most likely to be used in an application, okay? Doesn't matter what type of application you are using. Is it a mobile or is it a web? Everything, okay? Cool. And then from then we've got this one, okay? And this layer, it's a problem domain, okay? Domain, excuse my writing, okay? This layer, it's a problem domain, okay? This layer, okay, is more specific, okay? Let's say you are creating an accounting system, okay? Here, let's call this a folder. Here under problem domain, you are going to have modules that are specific to the app that you are building. Treat this as the actual app. This is a framework, it's not an application. These are libraries, they are not an application. This is some sort of common code that can be reused, okay, the app domain, but it's not an application, okay. The problem domain is the actual application, okay. If you can remove these files, okay, all these files that are solving a certain problem of a certain industry, all of a sudden the uniqueness of the application that we are building just vanishes, okay. This just becomes like any energy drink, water and syrup, okay. It's water and it's sweet, and maybe it gives you energy. I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So this is general, okay. This is the only specific part. If we're building an accounting system, if we've got a module which is create invoice, we cannot use that module when we're building a WhatsApp system, because in WhatsApp we are not creating invoice. On WhatsApp we are dealing with chats, okay. So as you can see, this is the problem domain. This is the actual application, okay. Let's stop and pause for a moment. Let's see what this spectrum can help us, okay. Let me see. Okay, I will explain other things later, okay. I call this the met spectrum. You will hear why, okay. It's under met patterns, okay. So under met patterns we've got the met spectrum, okay. I should have written this before. This is a met spectrum. Okay, there's a lot of things under met patterns. Let me just quickly highlight them. I've got a paper in front of me where I have written some rough notes. Okay, so let's see. We've got the met spectrum, and we've got the met view. Okay, we've got the met view. I'm going to explain what are these. We've got the met view. And what else? This is the met spectrum, it is the met view. If there's something that I forgot, I think there were three of these. Maybe I forgot the other one, but that's not a train smash. Okay, I will think about it as we go. Okay, this is just the rough information in front of me with my bad writing. Okay, so now guys, this is where we are. Okay, let's quickly refresh and recap. If you are building a React application, okay, just maybe ignore this Vue and Angular. If you are building a React application, you've got a framework which is React. Maybe you might say, I'm going to build it with React using Next, okay. But here you are going to write everything relating to the framework, okay. Here you are going to write a list of libraries that you think you are going to use, okay. These are the libraries that I think I'm going to use. And then here you are going to write let's say the app domain, all the common functions or common reusable pieces of code, okay, that are general, that they can be applied to any application, okay. Obviously it might not be necessarily you are writing them, okay. Maybe it might happen you are creating them, okay. Cool. And then here we are going to put, let's say under this folder, we are going to put everything that is app specific. This is the actual application, okay. This is the actual application. That's why it's a problem domain. It's a problem that we are solving. Let me just give you an idea of the problem domain. In an accounting system, you are solving an accounting problem, okay, creating codes and invoices and delivering a certain value to a customer, okay. Cool. And then in WhatsApp, you are solving a communication problem, okay. As you can see, that will come with different modules like chats, like statuses, like group links and all those things, okay. And then if you Netflix, okay, you are creating Netflix, you will have subscriptions, you will have a list of movies, you will have movie categories, what can I say, a list of characters or actors or main actors and all those things. As you can see here, a lot of things, there is a variation here, but here there is no variation, okay. These will always be here, okay. Cool. And then let's say this part, okay, makes what can I say, this part in the problem domain makes the end user happy. Okay. The end user cares much about the problem domain. Okay. What problem are you solving for me? Okay. So us as developers, we are almost 90% of the time we are here. Okay. And this one, the problem domain, it's very, very close to the end user because this is the problem that we are solving for the end user. Okay. Cool. Now, with this structure has helped me to think about coding. Okay. Before, I didn't really use to think about coding. I used to open Visual Studio Code and follow along with the coding tutorial. Even when I want to create my own application, I will open Visual Studio Code and get into it. Now, before I code, I have to understand this very well. Okay. What framework am I going to use? Is it going to be just pure React or is it going to be Next.js? Anything that is like framework relating, okay, it's like your fundamentals. Let's say are you going to use npm or yarn? You can just put all those under the framework, okay, because it's like those things you won't modify. Okay, you are not going to change them. They serve as a foundation. And then, is there a list of libraries that I think I am going to need? Okay, I will list those. Okay, the app domain, based on my own experience. Okay, what reusable pieces of code that I have, okay, that will help me to make my life easier. Okay, I will put those here. And then let's come to the problem domain. What am I trying to solve? Okay, I am trying to solve movie streaming. Okay, so I will put all the movie streaming code, let's say, okay, under this folder. Okay, so in terms of the actual implementation, okay, these names might not appear as they are. Let's say we're not going to have a folder called, let's say, problem domain where we are having everything. Okay, we will be controlled by the React structure or Next.js structure. But now we know that we've got these categories. Okay, my apologies about that. So let's get into practicality and see how this can help us to really think about what we are doing. Okay, now let's get into the folder structure of your React application. Okay, let's say folder structure. Okay, let's check the folder structure. Okay, so what you must have, I think I'm going to delete this. This was just an example. So what you must have, okay, so what you must have, okay, it's a folder, okay, which is the app domain folder. Okay, in your React application, let me just change this. So you must have an app domain folder. Okay, app domain folder. Okay, obviously, before I decided to some sort of create this med pattern thing, I used to call this folder like a different name. Okay, until now I gave it a name, which is app domain. Okay, you've got a folder which is app domain. Okay, this folder, it's the folder that you will carry from one project to another. I just realized that when I'm creating a React project, be it React Native or React for web, okay, or Next.js, I am repeating myself. Okay, every time I start from scratch, and I started to see some sort of possibilities or some sort of code that can be reused in here. Okay, since when I get into a React application, I've got some folders already there. Okay, I didn't really immediately think of creating a folder that will always be here that I can copy to another project. Let's say I'm creating a chat application and I created a very let's say efficient way module, okay, or function or method to log in and log out. Okay, that method, it has got nothing to do with the chat application. You will always be logging in and logging out. That module, it's not a library, okay? It's not an npm package. and also it's not a framework. So where does it fits in or fall? It falls under this category, okay? Under this category. So I'm just going to put an example here. Login. Let's say, let me just name it, give it a name of use login, okay? As if it's a hook, okay? Let's say now we've created it as a hook, use login, okay? Okay, this is a hook inside the app domain. So I hope you see the type of method that sits under this folder. Okay, this folder you will always, before you create any application, in fact, you will create a React app application and copy and paste this folder. Why? Because it contains like 90% of the code that you will use in any application. This code, you will use it. Okay, so let's talk about evolution. Okay, so as you create project, let's say you started here, you created this project and you created this one, you were better, you are becoming better developer, and then you created this one, and then the fourth one, you are here now. Okay, this folder, the app domain, you will take it from here. It has got only one file because there was only one method, which is use login. And then when you are here, you decided to put the use fetch, which is now you are going to have two modules under it. And then here you've got a lot of code or modules that you know that you are reusing every time. Okay, let's say now you also got, it's three of these module you've added use logout. Okay, and then now here on step number 4, you are planning to let's say not only use fetch, but let's say you want to connect to a GraphQL server. Okay, so now you've got use GraphQL here. Okay, so this folder matures and it evolves with time. Okay, how is this folder going to help you? Number one, you are creating your own library. Okay, it's like you are growing as a software development company, let's say. Okay, meaning that every time you create a project, things become better for you, because now when you are creating this project, you might be more efficient because you are not going to repeat the code, and also you are not going to copy and paste it. You have to look on the structure of React.js and look for that function and copy and paste it. You will know that it's here on the app domain because it has got nothing to do with accounting. It's not a library and it's not a framework. Okay, so I think this one speaks to code evolution. Okay, so meaning that you've got a library or a resource, okay, that contains all your intelligence. Okay, starting from the first app that you created up until the last app. So the more you create apps, the more this app domain library of yours or resource becomes wiser, okay, or it becomes rich, okay, in code, in reusable code. Okay, I hope you see how this will help you. Okay, so how do you then take this code and use it somewhere else? You just copy this directory. Okay, you just copy this directory and that's it. This has saved my life. Okay, so I hope you do get this folder, what is it for and what you put inside there. Now one might ask, since now we've got, let's say people have got a list of how what constitutes a professional React app folder structure. Okay, the met pattern or the met spectrum, okay, doesn't really have an opinion on that. Okay, if you want to put this folder as empty as it is and put everything here, even your components, to be honest, I don't mind much. Okay, you can do what suits you best. But what I know, if I'm looking at your own project and I want to copy code that I know is general and I might use it on a different application. Okay, I will just come and copy this folder, paste it in my own application, and I will just have to ask you, which method can I use, which hook can I use in your own app domain folder to solve this problem. You will just tell me, okay, use that one, this is how you use it. Okay, maybe as a, I'm not sure, as an add-on, okay, one might even have a document here, okay, that says much about all the modules that are here and how to use them. As you can see now, this becomes better because I can copy this and put it on my project, and I can open this document and search for things as I am developing, okay, to see if don't you have solved this problem like before? Don't you have a code that I can use? Okay, so we are done with this one. And then from there, you are going to have the problem domain. Okay, you don't really have to call this problem domain, but it might assist to have the folder, okay, which is problem domain. Okay, the reason why I'm saying you don't really have to, okay, based on the way Next.js has been arranged, okay, you've got the app folder, and then you've got, let's say, the page, the layout and pages. Let's just put pages here. Okay, as you can see, these pages will always be here. Okay, if you move it to inside the problem domain, you might tamper with how Next.js has been arranged. Okay, so the problem domain code, the majority of it, 90% of it, can be inside this problem. But because of the framework, okay, you might not be able to take all of the problem domain code to inside the problem domain. Okay, some other files will sit randomly on your root folder. Okay, you just have to know that this is a problem domain code. Okay, this one. Okay, because it has got nothing to do with the app domain. It is not a library and it is not a framework. Okay, this file, you just have to know it belongs here. Okay, it's part of the problem domain because it's very specific. Okay, it's a login, yes, but it's a WhatsApp login. It's not just a general login. Okay, so that's why I'm saying some other file might sit outside this folder because of the framework that you are using. Okay, so as you can see now, in terms of a folder structure, we've got the problem domain and we've got the app domain. This is very important, okay, to have these two types of folders. Okay, this one helps you to know that the code that relates to this app that I'm building, okay, if it's WhatsApp, the code that relates to WhatsApp, all of it, I'm going to put it here, okay, because it's so specific, I cannot reuse it. So specific, okay. And the code that it's general, I can reuse it, I'm going to put here inside the app domain. Okay, what is the folder structure of the app domain? I might have my own, you can have your own. I might have utils folder, you might have helpers folder or helper functions. So here we don't really have to talk much about it. You can write whatever that you want. Okay, cool. So we are done with this. I'm assuming a framework, it's some sort of obvious because you create a React app, automatically you've already created those folders. In terms of the libraries and packages, okay, you know better about what libraries are you going to create and what libraries are going to what libraries are going to install. Okay, and then we've got the app domain and then we've got the problem domain. So let's look at on pre-production before you create your application. Okay. Hey guys, my apologies for disturbing. In case you didn't know, we've got a course at Udemy. If you are watching this on Coded Design, I also got another YouTube channel for teaching you Figma, and that channel is Coded UI. In case you want to be updated by everything that we do here at Coded Design, please check the link in the description below to our Substack newsletter. Thank you so much. I hope you are enjoying. Okay, how can the met spectrum help you? Okay, how can having this table, okay, help you, okay, to do? Number one, it can help you to communicate your idea. Okay, if you can show me your spectrum, okay, if you can show me your spectrum, I can have an idea, okay, of what's going on. It's like I can have a mental model. Okay, I can be able to course correct you, okay, and tell you that, okay, can we change this package and use React Hook form, or let's use Material UI because of so and so and so and so. For validation, can we use instead of Zod, can we use a different one, maybe Yep or Yup or Yup, okay, whatever way you call it, okay. So as you can see, this can help you to some sort of present your idea, okay, the concept of the application, okay, because I will have an idea of what framework are you going to use, okay. I will have an idea of a list of libraries. If there is a missing one, I will tell you, okay, you can consider adding this one for this, okay. I've got an idea. If you've got a list of your app domain modules, okay, things that are going to help you to some sort of quickly finish things and whatever. If there's something missing, I can tell you that you can add this as well, okay. And at the same time, I can clearly see the modules, okay, that are specific, okay, to this what can I say, to this to the problem that you are trying to solve. Okay, the methods that are here, okay, even here on the problem domain, you can even, when you are writing, formulating a document, you can even state the problem here, what you are trying to solve, okay, like the highlights of what are you trying to solve, okay. Then you can state here, let's say the quickest or the most efficient chat application, okay. So now these modules needs to obviously talk to this. So this is the problem domain. So as you can see, first of all, for presenting your idea, okay, it can help you with that. Also, presenting your idea to yourself, one of the major problems with development, okay, you solving a problem, yes, but as a developer, you are in your head office most of the time. So I'm trying to say, in the head office, which is the brain, the thought process, and all the thoughts, the dynamics and mechanism, okay, it's not easy to be there, okay. It's not easy because ideas flows randomly and there's a lot of things going on. That's where you write a spaghetti code and you have a responsibility to refactor it so that it can be better, okay. So at some point you need to sell the concept to yourself so that you can modify it, okay. So by having the met spectrum, okay, you are some sort of trying to narrow down, okay, you are trying to hone into what's important, okay. And also you can weigh the cost benefits strategy or approach, okay. What's the cost of adding ShadCN in this entire tech stack, okay, or in these different layers, okay. Is it going to work well with this or it's not going to work well? So as you can see, in pre-production, okay, this can give you clarity, okay, this can give you clarity, okay. So the problem that we fall into as beginners, we create code projects, okay. Without this, you create a code project, okay, you are not developing an application, okay, it's a code project, okay. The problem with code projects, they are general, they are not solving like real life application, okay. Obviously they are fictitious, like they are controlled. That one is not much of a problem because if somebody wants to explain something, they need to eliminate all other variables. It's understandable. But code projects, they are not close to reality and they are not solving a specific problem, okay. They are not solving a specific problem. So these code projects are missing these elements, okay. What is the problem that arises from code project? It's very easier for one to deceive him or herself thinking that they know better, okay. Okay, it's very easier for one, okay, this is a question mark, it's very easier for one to deceive themselves and think that they know better, because when you are following code projects, things becomes some sort of easy, okay, simple, if I can create a Netflix clone, that means I can create a Hulu clone, that means I can create a Hulu application, of which that's a problem because application comes with a problem domain, and clone, you already following a certain problem domain. You don't know how Netflix got into creating Netflix the way it is. So when you are creating a clone, you are taking from what is already working. Okay, you don't know the dynamics. Okay, so you can see that a code project makes you quickly think that you are a master, whereas you are not. Okay, because it's simple. If you look at it, Based on how we teach code on YouTube and how we create project, these projects are just similar. Okay, what differs is the logo. If I, in my own React clone, I had this logo, in yours, let's say in YouTube clone, you, in yours, you have a different one. Maybe we differ in certain modules, you call this module. But if you look at all these clones that we repeatedly do or create in our YouTube videos, it's like water and syrup. Okay, and it boils down to, there is something sweet and there is a liquid, and that makes it an energy drink. Just change the name and that's it. Okay, but in real life, okay, when you get into development in essence, okay, I think also one of the advantages, or one of the things that has worked for me in terms of the met pattern, okay, met pattern taught me um the order of importance. Okay, the order of importance. As you can see here, there is the order of importance. This is the foundation. This is something that you cannot substitute. You can substitute it with another framework, but the framework must be there. What are you going to build on top of? These are libraries. Okay, as you can see, libraries, they sit on top of a framework, and also they take some sort of a certain level of importance. Okay, order of importance. Okay, order of importance. Okay, and then we've got the app domain and we've got the problem domain. Okay, as you can see, there's some sort of an order here, a certain hierarchy, depending on where are you viewing it from. If you are viewing it from a user, okay, the problem domain is the most important thing, because this is the problem that you are trying to, that the application or the developer is solving for you. You don't want to know much about the domain and the libraries. That doesn't concern you, and in most cases you will never know. Okay, you even don't want to, but you are interested in what are these guys solving. The problem domain, you've got a problem with uploading file, then the problem domain needs to address that, as you can see. So if you're coming from this side, this is the order of importance. The problem domain becomes important. But if you are coming from a developer side, okay, or production side, then you are starting from the bottom up. You want to know what framework are we going to use and why, what libraries are we going to use, what is a collection of our app domain, do we have any reusable module based on the history of the company, and also what is the problem domain. Okay, so as you can see here, this met pattern taught me the order of importance, but at the same time, you can, this OI, okay, you can change it to IO. Okay, the importance of order. Okay, order is very important. So as you can see, what I did here, I just took what we know, what we like say general, we know that React application, it's files and folders. But now I've just grouped these in certain categories so that you can paint a picture to someone, not only to someone, but even to yourself. Okay, I am going to create a React application. Am I going to use Next.js or pure React? This falls under this, and you know exactly the importance of this. And then what libraries or packages am I going to use? I think I'm going to use these. What the app domain, what are my reusable codes, these ones. And then what is the problem that I'm trying to solve? All those functions will be here, and all those modules. So this taught me the order of importance and the importance of order. Okay, cool. So I think you do get the essence of the MET spectrum, because this is the MET spectrum. Okay, so let's come to the spectrum aspect of this diagram. Okay, what must I do? I think I will need these notes. Okay, so let me just create a new one. Okay, so as you might have noticed, okay, we've got, let me just write these like this. Okay, okay, this is the first one, and let's see. Okay, this is not really what I wanted. This is not 100% straight. Let's do it like this. I hope this one will be. My apologies about, oops, but if not, then it's not much of a problem. I'm happy with that. Okay, let's see the other one. Okay, one, two, three, four. I think the other one here. Okay. Based on what we talked about, we said this is the framework. Okay. These are the libraries, and this is the application. Okay, let's call this AD, application domain, and this is the problem domain. Okay, the problem domain. Okay, cool. Now, the reason why this is a spectrum, it's simply because the electromagnetic spectrum, okay, or yeah, I think it's electromagnetic spectrum, okay, where you have, let's say, a red color here, okay, with a high frequency, okay, and then let's say, I'm not sure, here, no matter, we've got blue or some sort of a low frequency, okay, and then here we've got something like this. Okay, this is supposed to be high as we go here. I'm going to show you this on the internet. Okay, as you can see, this is a spectrum. Okay, let me just quickly get a picture or an image of an electromagnetic spectrum. Magnetic spectrum. Okay, if not, yes. Okay, I think, which one can I take? Let me click on images. Okay, let's see. I think this can communicate my point very well. As you can see, okay, so here we've got high energy, high frequency. As we get in here, it becomes low, 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 low. Okay, so that's why this is called a spectrum. It's some sort of a certain range, okay, of, let's say, different wavelengths, as you can see, okay, with different color. Okay, so that's the idea. Okay, so, or that's what I was thinking when I called this a spectrum. Okay, so let's get into the spectrum aspect of it. Okay, so let me just use a different color here. Okay, so this doesn't just end here. Okay, but for the developer, I think this is sufficient. Okay, however, why, as YouTube coders, we don't really have our own application? Okay, why we don't have, like, let's say, if you look at YouTube coders, maybe it's a lot of us, like, we've got a lot of coders, but the popular application, you can count them. Okay, like, maybe it's in some sort of, from 0 to 10. Okay, like, for instance, it's Snapchat, it's Instagram, it's WhatsApp, it's Facebook, it's maybe, I don't know, others, maybe, let's say, Tinder, and then we can go on and mention your Netflix and whatever, but you can some sort of count those. Okay, if, as developers, like, we are more than, let's say, thousands and thousands of YouTube developers, people who are teaching other people to code, isn't that suppose the number of successful application is supposed to increase? Because as a developer, I can create my own chat application. Let's say I have created like 10 of them, at least one will succeed. Okay, so why am I just only a teacher, okay, with some sort of knowledge and intelligence to help me, let's say, become the billionaire of this world? Okay, simply because I fall, let's say, on the dev zone of the spectrum. So let's just continue with the spectrum so that we can understand what I'm trying to say. So what we are going to do, we are going to try to draw the exact box. Okay, the exact boxes, but obviously in different color and some sort of opposite this one. Okay, some sort of, this is some sort of a mirror image or mirror reflection. Okay, something like that. So that's why I am calling this a spectrum in a way. Okay, as you can see, we've got the last one. Okay, and we've got this last one. Okay, I don't like this. Maybe this has been a problem also. Okay, let's see. Okay, not what I wanted on. Let me just leave this one like this. Okay, I'm not going to die. Okay, so as you can see, so first thing here on the met spectrum, okay, here on the met spectrum, okay, somewhere here, okay, we've got the equilibrium. Okay, this is the equilibrium. Okay, it's like the some sort of an excess of reflection. Okay, as you can see, this is the opposite of this, and this forms a shape of an hourglass. Okay, as you can see, this is more like, my apologies about that, this is more like an hourglass. Okay, something like that. So the equilibrium is here. Okay, cool. And then this side, okay, below the equilibrium line, let's say the equilibrium line, we've got the dev zone. Okay, let me write that here. Okay, maybe I might as well change the color. We've got the dev zone. Okay, and here we've got the business zone. So the reason why we don't have much successful like application global applications as YouTube coders, it's simply because our skills, knowledge, and whatever you call it, okay, it starts from here and it ends here. Okay, it's always below the equilibrium line. Okay, this is what we are conscious of. Okay, and unfortunately for many of us, we think that this knowledge translates to the business zone, of which it doesn't. Okay, so the people who make it to creating bigger applications and like bigger platforms are the people who are coming from the business zone. Okay, because they are very close to the problem domain, they are very close to here. Okay, they understand what the user wants, and they are solving a problem. Okay, um as somebody who doesn't know how to code, you can come up with a very successful application. Okay, because you know what the user want. Okay, and that is enough. Okay, build what we need, not what you think we need. So here on the dev zone, we build what we think people need because of the skills. Okay, you learn, and then you'll be like, I can create my own app. That's a problem. You are supposed to research and solve a problem, and then use technology to solve that. So as you can see, most of us, we are trapped here. So as a developer, okay, if you want to create a successful app, or at least get into that path, okay, start to some sort of at least swim up. Okay, swim up the ocean. Okay, so that you can breathe, because now here you are under the ocean, or you are under the water. Then swim up so that your head could be here, then you can catch this fresh air. Okay, this will help you to come up with solutions, not apps. Okay, because as a developer, you think of an application might be an application that doesn't solve any problem. Okay, if you might ask me, I created an application which was helping musician or upcoming artist to share their music with the world. As cool as it is, I just realized that people don't artists don't care about the problem that I'm trying to solve. They keep on telling me or asking me, how much money am I going to make? And I'm like, you're not going to make money, man. I'm just helping you to quickly share your music with the world. And the value here is, you just upload your music here, the one that you are willing to give for free. And then you give people a link. And when they go to that link, they see your profile and they see a list of other songs they can download. And at the same time, you can push them to some sort of a premium or a paid service of yours, maybe to your Spotify link, instead of using these websites and applications which makes money on ads. Okay, because maybe if they make money on ads, then your users, you don't have your own profile. When they get in there to download, there's a lot of things. Even when you click somewhere there, this will take them to a different website. Some of those has got some content that you really don't like. Okay, all of a sudden now you form part of preaching a negative gospel. Okay, because of those websites. So I was trying to say to these guys, this is for free. It's for artist by artist. But unfortunately, as cool as it was, but I was solving a problem that my users didn't care about. Okay, this is the pain that YouTube developers don't really want to hear, don't want to experience. Okay, we don't want this. Okay, uh, we approach development from a genius. I wish I can be able to draw Einstein. Okay, but I think this is Einstein. Okay, okay, let's see. This is much better, guys. Okay, as you can see, this can be Einstein. We think of development as an intellectual warfare. Okay, we compete with our intellect. Okay, that's not the case. Okay, just look for a problem, however simple it is, solve it for people. Okay, then you'll realize that just like the same way the Instagram guys just realize that people love a certain feature of their app which they never thought they will like, and they changed and created that as a product. Okay, so let's continue with the spectrum. Okay, so now here the spectrum is helping you to expand your consciousness. Okay, to understand why am I a developer. Okay, because if you are underwater below the equilibrium line, you are living in your own world where you are as good as being employed. Okay, your skills here, they work better. They make a lot of money for you if you work for Google and you are using your front end skills for Google. And the rest of the Google team, they are working on things which are below the equilibrium line and above the equilibrium line. So an application, it's an amalgamation of everything above the equilibrium line and below the equilibrium line. So as you can see, as a dev, you stand here. Okay, you might create your own SaaS application, but obviously it was just a cool thing, and okay, you didn't really push it to wherever. So now one might ask, what is going on then above here? Above here, we still have the same, because this is the reflection, as above, so as below. Okay, so this is the reflection. We still have got P here, okay, above the equilibrium line. We still have A here. We still have L here. We still have F here. Okay, so this is the full spectrum. Okay, so it makes it a full spectrum. So what do we have here as P? Okay, here we've got a pain point. Okay, above the equilibrium line, we are dealing with a lot of emotions. Okay, that's the sad reality that you will realize about users. Okay, users are emotional beings. Okay, that's why they want nice user experience and beautiful colors, and they are drawn to that simplicity, and it's because they've got a pain that they want to solve. So as you can see, the problem domain, okay, it's a distant cousin or a relative or a brother of a pain point. If a user has got a pain point, you take that as a developer and create some sort of problem domain out of that, which is obviously that is going to be a solution. Okay, then the success of your application start from here. Okay, the more you go down here, the less interesting you are to the user. Okay, so I'm trying to say this is where you want to go, or this is the key. Okay, the pain point of a user that you want to solve. It doesn't matter how you solve it, because startup companies, they start with MVP, a very simple basic application, and people will love and they will sign up and it will grow with time. So you don't really have to figure out all the stacks and everything. So here we've got some sort of the pain point. Okay, we've got a pain point here. Okay, and then here on this A, okay, on my notes I've got some sort of area, okay, or industry. Okay, this is a pain point, right? Okay, cool. In which area? Okay, is it in accounting? Is it in multimedia? Is it a communication problem? Is it is it is it is it storage problem? So I hope you do get the idea of an industry here. And remember, as a developer, this is the new world to you. And maybe even now you are like, this doesn't concern me. I've met a lot of developers who feel like that is none of their own business. Okay, cool. I really understand that. And I don't have a problem with you if this is none of your problem. Okay. It's you feel like it's not your own duty to know these things. Okay. So here we've got an area or an industry. Okay. So meaning that yes, there is a pain point, but in which industry? Okay. This will help you to really, what can I say, try to meet the pain point, or to be very smart and provide solutions that are tailor made for that industry. Okay. So that you cannot come up with an application that is confusing. It's a chat application, but at the same time, it's a payment gateway or whatever. So industry is important. So basically, if I can be honest with you, above the equilibrium line, we are talking business matters, okay, but only those that relates to code. I think there is a quote from a song by Nas. I'm not sure who is saying the quote, because it when the song starts, it feels like it's a certain recording from a certain, maybe audio or whatever, okay, meeting, okay. But it goes like this: a scientist is a man who has learned to think at least about scientific matters, okay. So here, well, we are solving a problem, but that concerned the business matters. Okay, that's why developers don't get here. Okay, because it's a different language. Okay, it's a different language. Here, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. Okay, let me put this: 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. We are logical here. Okay, but here we are emotional. Okay, as developers, we are struggling to understand this, such that what can I say? We even deny if this exists. Okay, if you can come to the developer and tell them about your emotion, they will feel confused. They will ask you logical question like, and then if you like this type of a color, and then go and then use it, paint your house with this color, and the user will be like, no, not really, I don't want that color. Then the developer will be like, then it's either it's true or false. And then you can't be, there are no binaries here. What's your problem? Okay, so as you can see, guys, the reason why as developers we don't really build application is simply because we are missing the other end of the spectrum. Okay, we think that life revolves around we are in the marine life, okay, inside the sea. Okay, in the marine life, you don't think of the wedding functions. You are underwater. You can't go and marry someone underwater. Underwater you want to survive. Okay, it's dangerous there. You might it's a battle. You are fighting for your life. You are scared. You are underwater in the marine life. But here above the ground, we are thinking of marriages. We are drinking. We are partying. You see. So as you can see, guys, that's why developers really struggle with this world. Okay, it's a totally different thing. Okay, cool. What industry are we talking about here? We are learning to think at least about business matters, not coding and production matters. Okay, cool. So what industry? Okay, you have to, is it music, is it Spotify, is it according to that? Okay, and then next, it's the level of significance. Okay, my apologies about my bad writing, or level of importance. Okay, The level of importance. This L is for level of importance. Okay, cool. As I've told you, I solved a problem that the users care less about. Look, the level of significance or importance, it was zero. Like no one like used it. Okay. I kept on changing and introducing new features. Yes, some of the features grabbed the attention and people gave me an ear, but initially they didn't. Does the problem exist? They will tell me, yes, it exists. But then why don't you solve it? It's not worth solving. They kept on asking me, how much am I going to make? And I'm like, this has got nothing to do with money. You see, they were telling me that they want a watered down version of Spotify so that they can put their music and get something in return. And that was it. And I was too blind to some sort of respond to that need simply because I was living underwater. Okay. I really didn't understand this one plus one is equal to seven. I didn't understand this. Okay. I asked the guys, does the problem exist? They say, yes, this is beautiful. Okay. It doesn't have ads. It's got a profile. It can help me to upsell. Then use it. They will say, nah, I will use it. Yeah, but okay, cool. The level of importance here is very important. Okay. So here on the last part, okay, I call this the face, okay, the face or the facade effect, okay, the facade effect, okay. Here underwater, under the equilibrium line, as a developer, you are concerned about the functionality, okay. Does it fetch the data? Okay. Now, here we are concerned about how cool it is, as silly as it is to a developer, but this is reality. Okay. So here we're not concerned about the functionality. Let me write this F in an opposite way. Okay. Just to emphasize that these are the different worlds. Okay. Here we are concerned about the form. Okay, we're concerned about the form. And then here we're concerned about the functionality or the fact. As you can see, these are the opposite. So when I'm talking about the face or the facade effect, you can come up with your solution and it's solving the pain point in a certain area and highest level of significance. But how you present it to me, it's a decider. Okay. Yes, it solves the problem, but it's too ugly. As a result, I'm not using it. Like I'm not motivated as a user to use it. Okay. So guys, that's about it in terms of the MET spectrum. Okay, as you can see, we've got these different steps. Okay, some sort of different frequency. Okay, then we've got the equilibrium here, some sort of a point of reflection. Okay, and then. Okay, so basically, as above, so as below. Okay, these people, they are doing the same thing. Okay, but the business person is looking at things from this point of view. And then I forgot to draw my sticky guys here. Okay, my stick men. Okay, these are the users. Okay, happy users. Okay, and these somewhere here below this, we've got developers. Okay, these are the developers and these are the users. As above, so as below. So that is some sort of the spectrum. Okay, so if you look at the spectrum as a whole, not only below the equilibrium, okay, as a developer you can start to get a sense of where we are going. Okay, you are not going to create now code projects, but you are going to create applications because this matters. Okay, if you know a system design, okay, something that Google, Netflix, Dropbox developers, some of them, the back end or engineers, they are being asked on interviews, like they will be given a problem. Can you design Netflix? Okay. They will talk about all about the system, the how many requests. Okay, are we uploading videos, how many videos, how many users, maybe million users, and then they will design a system, okay, that accommodates that. What is important? Are we going to read more data or create a lot of records and all those things. Okay, those are very important. Okay, those are very important. Big companies, they are thinking about those. Okay, so as a developer, if you look at the spectrum, okay, it some sort of gives you a hint into the user is the king here. Okay, don't be caught up in your own coding. Okay, us, we brag about ShadCN and look, if it's not going to solve a problem, I'm sorry, no matter how intelligent it is, at some point it needs to say something to the user. Okay, and how many users? Let's say we've got 1 billion users, they are requesting a certain video, meaning that your own intelligence here, it must be filtered according to what is going on here. Okay, so below the equilibrium line, whatever that you do, it needs to some sort of talks to in a way, or it must be relative to above the equilibrium line. Okay, so that you cannot create a React application that not efficient. Okay, that keep on refetching data. Okay, because now you are going to some sort of, what can I say, you are going to be a problem to the system designers, because your application keeps on refetching the same thing every second, which is, it's a problem. Okay, so guys, I hope you can see this is the met spectrum. Okay, from the met pattern, met spectrum, I hope this has given you an idea of what's going on. This is what I was looking for when I started React. Okay, I wanted some sort of a framework, something to give me an idea of what's going on. Yes, I'm following along. I'm creating YouTube tutorials and I'm creating these clones, but I didn't really have a clue, a bigger picture of what's going on. Okay, so let's continue, guys. Remember, I told you that on the met pattern, I think on number 2. Okay, we've got the met spectrum, and at the same time, we've got the met view. Okay, I am from JavaScript, a little bit of JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and PHP. Okay, so that stack, okay, um, can operate under the the pattern MVC. Okay, model view controller. You've got the controller controlling everything intelligent. You've got the view presenting anything. You've got the model, any code that communicates or responsible for communicating with the database. Okay, creating, updating, and deleting. So this is just separation of concern. You are structuring your code in such a way that this takes or adhere to single responsibility, and single responsibility, right? Yes, this is easy to understand. Now, when I got into React, the first thing, we've got JSX. What is this guy? No, this guy combines 3 things: HTML, JavaScript, and CSS. Makes it worse now that there is Tailwind. Okay, everything is in one place. Okay, cool. And I was like, I wonder how could I implement MVC here, because this pattern was working beautifully. It some sort of helped me to write a clean and a scalable code. But now here, everything is here. Okay, with PHP, you can write OOP. I believe with JavaScript, you can also write OOP, I believe. But React looks like it doesn't take the OOP approach. It's more like a functional programming. Okay, it revolves around functions. Components are functions. Okay, so as you can see, this is a different paradigm, and this is almost like a different paradigm. So how am I then going to solve this problem? Obviously, I got into doing things as they are. Okay, so the met view, okay, it's not like a new pattern or whatever. Okay, but it's something that I had to take a note of, and I have to register it in my mind, and I have to apply it. Okay, cool. What does the met pattern state? Sorry, the met view states. Okay, the met view states that, okay, or let's say a met view is, okay, let's put it this way. A met view is equal to the page container. Okay, let's say the page container. Okay, and plus the page presentation. The page container and the page presentation. Okay, obviously these are not new things. Okay, there is a React pattern which is a container presenter pattern. Okay, a container presenter pattern. Okay, I really didn't know if this exists. I'm coming from um the Gang of Four, the GOF. Okay, Gang of Four design patterns. Okay, I think this OOP oriented. So when I got into React, I've searched for patterns, and I realized that okay, they are React patterns, and container presenter pattern. It's one of those. Okay, I think it's very close to MVC. The container presenter pattern is very close to MVC. It's like it's concerned about the separation of consent. Okay, what does it says? You can have a component that will be a container. Okay, the container will prepare all the data that the presentation layer will present. And then here we've got the data. So the container is responsible, it's like a controller in a way. Okay, it's responsible for fetching the data and feeding the container. So the container needs to be a dumb component. It needs not to be smart. It needs not to fetch data. It just has to present the data. Okay, as you can see, this is the container presenter pattern. Okay, so I was like, it looks like now when I'm creating mobile application with React Native or web application with Next.js, okay, I need to take this serious to the next level. Okay, any view that I have, be it's a screen on mobile, okay, or a page on the web, okay, it must always be some sort of a combination of a page container and a page presentation, so that I can always what can I say, have in my mind these two components, okay, container and the presentation. This will help me. If you don't really like think this way, it's easy to create a page that has got everything. Okay, the page fetch data, it re-renders, conditional re-rendering, updates data, and whatever and whatever. Okay, now you end up having this page becoming a god component. Okay, it's aware of a lot of things. You can reuse it, you can swap it for the other, and it becomes a problem. So I was like, okay, cool, let me take this as a met view. Okay, just as a way to register it. If I've got a page, it is not a page, it's a container that has got a page presentation. Okay, there's a page container and there's a page presentation. This is a dumb component and this is a smart component. Okay, this guy is responsible for collecting data for this guy, and this guy is responsible for presenting this data, but this guy knows nothing about the data, it only receives it. Okay, as you can see, this is just the container presenter pattern, but thinking of it only this way, it doesn't register it in your mind. Okay, the reason why I called it a met view and a met pattern, okay, I wanted to register it. Okay, then I decided to try this thing. I even take the met view as far as when I'm creating a form. Okay, a form, and this is a submit button. A form must be a dumb component. Okay, it must always have a form container. that will feed it with whatever it needs. Okay, this guy will fetch all the data that needs to be updated and it will feed it in a form. The form will present it here. If something happens here and we need to catch that data and save it so that when you click here, the form doesn't do that. The container needs to do that. Okay, the container works and the forms only display. So as you can see, taking this as a met view or some sort of registering it as a certain pattern or strategy or something, okay, it has changed how I write code. Okay. Now I'm always sticking to the best programming practices, the separation of concern. My presentation are always presenting. My presentation are always presenting, and my smart component, they are always smart. So I was longing for the MVC. Okay, so I was like, okay, cool. Let me just take the container presenter pattern and let me just change it to be met view. Okay, so that I can put an emphasis, some sort of bend this into my mind that any page, okay, any view consists of a page container first plus a page presentation. Okay, obviously I didn't think this video was going to be this long. Okay, I didn't think this video was going to be this long, but it happened that it's this long. Okay, so we are going to wrap it up. The other thing that I have, it's a matte style. We are not going to get into this one deep for now. Okay, it's a matte style. We're not going to get this one. Will might make sense in a code, and also it speaks to React Native. Okay, to mobile development. It speaks to mobile development, but it's just a certain way of writing style in a way that it makes my life easier. Let me just give you an example. When you are creating an application, you will find yourself centering things, you will find yourself arranging things into columns and rows. This is something that you will always do. So I've got a style. The name of the style is M, okay, stands for Met style. So when I want to arrange the container center, I just import this and then dot center. This will return some sort of the styles for centering things. M.row, in whatever flexed parent, it will just arrange it into row. M.gap, and then I'll pass the gap, let's say 1 or 2 pixel. In whatever container, it will do that. Okay, let's say I want to make this rounded. Okay, or let's say I want to make this a circle. Okay, I've got this component which is 4 by 4. I want to make this a circle. What I will do, I will just say m dot round, and then I will pass the height. Okay, since this is the same, I will pass the height. This will return for me a border radius. Okay, obviously behind the hood, this will take this and divide it by 2, and then a border radius of 2 will make a perfect circle. Okay, so this is the met style. It will make sense. It will make sense in the code. Okay, in the code. So what I'm actually doing here, I am starting to think more about code than to actually code. Okay, so let's just take whatever that we have learned and try to create it. Okay, sorry.
Hey guys, my apologies for disturbing. In case you didn't know, we've got a course at Udemy. If you're watching this on Coded Design, I also got another YouTube channel for teaching you Figma, and that channel is Coded UI. In case you want to be updated by everything that we do here at Coded Design, please check the link in the description below to our Substack newsletter. Thank you so much. I hope you are enjoying.
And try to apply it. Okay, let's say we are creating a login screen. Okay, for anything. It's not like for whatever. Okay, it's not important what is it for. Okay, we've got the username here, we've got the password, and then we've got the submit button. Okay, Okay, assuming that this is a mobile application. Okay, as you can see. So let's just think about this and maybe approach it in terms of thinking about code. Okay, one might quickly get into React Native or React and code this and quickly do it. Okay, cool. So this is how I would think about it now. I need to have this is a form. I need to have a form container according to MetView. Okay, I need to have a form container. Oh, okay. Or let me just say I need to have a page container. Okay, which is this one is login. Okay, so I'm going to have a login container. Okay, I'm doing this religiously. It's not something that I have to look at the code and then think. I'm doing this religiously. Okay, need to have a login container, and then a login container needs to have a login page. In terms of React Native, it's going to be a login screen, which is going to be a dump component, and this is going to be a smart component. So as you can see, guys, we are continuing. Okay, we are planning. Okay, without coding. Okay, we are starting to think about what we are going to do. Okay, without the code. If maybe we see there are some loopholes, we will fix them in the thinking. Okay, cool. Now let's see. Let's talk about the functions here. Okay, this guy, when it first loads, okay, it does nothing. Okay, it does nothing. There is nothing that, let's say, that there are no functionalities that must be some sort of unnecessarily. Okay, but when you type in here and when you type in here, okay, it will mean that when you are done, you need to submit. When you are submitting, that is some sort of a request, okay, that you are creating. Okay, so let's just here, let's say number A. Okay, trying to separate these. Let's say there is data fetching. Okay, data fetching. Let's say some sort of a get request. Let's say a get request. We are getting data. Okay, obviously let's say this is get by let's say get by email. Okay, we want the data that is associated with this email. This is an email and this is a password. Okay, cool. Now, where is this going to sit? Okay, it's very important to know where is this going to sit. Okay, cool. Let's see. We've got the framework. Okay, we've got the framework. We've got the library. Okay, we've got the application domain, and then we've got the problem domain. Okay, this data fetching sit here in the application domain. Okay, because we will always be fetching data. Okay, so this means that if we are fetching data here, chances are we are going to fetch data again in the application. Okay, if we think of this as only this screen, we are just going to fetch data in such a way that we solve this problem. When we are supposed to sign in, we are going to fetch data in a way that we sign in, of which that's a problem. We are fetching data everywhere. Okay, so now what we want to do, we need to create a data fetching module which will sit here in application domain and is going to be reusable. Okay, so this data fetching module DFM needs to help us to read the data. That means it must have a read module. Let's say let's start with C so that we can stick to the CRUD application. It needs to help us with creating data, reading data, updating data, and deleting data. We are going to create it and we're going to store it here. We are going to use it every time we want. Instead of creating this fetch and that fetch and that fetch, we are going to create only this one. It stays here. As soon as we create a new application, we just copy this folder on the application domain, and we can reuse our data fetching module, okay, because it just fetches data, okay. And so we are done with that. So this module is not a login page and it's not a container, but it's going to be used by a container. It's going to be imported here in the container. It's not going to be imported by what? By the login page, okay. So I hope you can see from here that it's very important to think like an architect, okay, so that you can quickly solve problems in the planning phase, okay, besides getting into the code and coding and then you encounter some problems, okay. Cool. Now we are done with this one, okay. And then here we will have some icons, okay. We will have some icons here, okay. And these icons, let's say this is just an example which is on top of my head, okay. These icons might have certain colors. These icons might have certain padding, okay. An icon that is inside an input, okay, is different from an icon that is not inside an input, okay. It's still an icon, okay. So what we can do here, we can have a high order component, okay, a high order component. This high order component, we are going to name it icon HOC. Okay, cool. What this high order component will do, okay, it will take an icon, okay. Let's see how are we going to do that. Let's open this. It will take an icon, okay, with all of its props, okay. This is just a pseudocode. It's not like something that is like real, okay. And then in this icon, okay, um whenever you, okay, let me do this. Whenever you create a high order component, you use width, okay. Let's say width with icon props, okay. This is the high order component, meaning that whatever that comes out of here, it will come with icon props. It's like we are adding icon props, okay. Let's say you are passing an icon here with whatever color or whatever default properties, okay. So what will happen here, we are going to create we are going to take the original component, which is this one, okay, and then we are going to create a new component, okay, component. So we are going to override all the properties of the old component, okay, which is the icon one. So let's just type here old component, old com plus new properties plus new props. What are those props? Number one, let's say this one is with my apologies about this, okay. Let's say this high order component is with, okay, input, it's with input icon prop. That means you want to put an icon on an input. You will take your icon as it is from whatever library, okay. You will pass it through this high order component, and then it will come out with some default settings or props for input. For instance, whenever you use an input, you always an icon input, you always have this padding of 10 pixels, okay, which some other icons might not have. And also the color is always gray. So plus new props here, which is color must be gray, and the padding left of 10 pixel, and the size of 18 pixels. So this HOC with input icon prop will always take any icon. It will make sure that it has got a padding left, it has got a certain color and whatever. Let's say now in our application, we've got like times 1, 2, 3 times 1,000 input icons. Okay, now we want to change those colors for those input icon. How are we going to do it? Are we going to look for all the inputs icon in our application and change them, or we can just go to with input icon prop high order component, and then we change this color from gray to blue? All these icons will change. Okay, how cool is this, or what is interesting in this method? Number one, we are not changing the icon. Okay, it's like you are dropping the icon here wherever it comes from. When we're doing nothing to the icon, but we are overriding its own properties. Okay, it's like you are changing it without changing it. You don't really get into it and change it. Okay, you are not setting it. Maybe one might feel like, how different is this from having a constants? Okay, constants file with your, let's say, icon color, which is red, and then whenever you use the icon, the input icon, okay, let's say the input icon, you will always give it that color red. Okay, it will mean that on the props of this guy, you will have to set it to red. On the padding, you will have to set it to 10 pixel. On the size, you will have to set it to 12. If we've got 1,000 inputs, it will mean that you will have to repeat this and this and this 1,000 times, which makes it sum total of 3,000, because it's 1,000, 1,000, 1,000. Okay, but here you don't care about what is getting inside here. You don't really mind. You know that it will never come out, it will never make it alive, as if like here on earth we don't make it alive. Okay, you live and live and live, but in order to go to a spiritual realm, you don't make it alive. It's guaranteed. So think of that. This icon that you are pushing it here, it doesn't matter where you are taking it from. Okay, it's either it's a lucid icon or react icon, or it doesn't matter. But once you pass it through the high order component, it will come out with these default. What if then you want to use the same icon, but you want to use it as a general icon, let's say whatever? Okay, you can also take another high order component, let's say with app icon. Okay, now it's an app icon, you pass it here, and then within this high order component, you override all of its properties, and it will come back as a different component with certain colors. Okay, you change it in only one place and it changes everywhere. You don't really even have to customize it here, just like here, because people might be like, no, man, there is also a different way of doing it. Yes, but for me, like this for now, okay, this works. And remember, here I'm teaching you to think about code. Okay, let's say now you are done with your own planning and you've executed everything and you are hiring a different developer. Okay, instead of taking that developer and walking him or her through your own code, you can just take your planning. This is easy to explain. Okay, you can tell him that, look, we've got containers for everything. The containers are smart. This is what they do. We've got the HOC for all of our icons. Okay, you just push them in here, and then that's it. Maybe this guy might forget to set this to a variable that we know that it's from constant. He might put red to make his life easier, but here you just push any icon and it will change everywhere in the application. So this is what I hope you can get into. Okay, really to think about what you are doing. Okay, to catch all the tools that are helping you to think about what you are doing. Obviously, the met pattern, it's an early theory. Okay, it's some sort of an early theory. Okay, the met pattern is more like a theory. Okay, It's not a pattern necessarily, but it's a certain theory that seeks to bring order, okay, and structure in React application. It seeks to build a mental model, okay, so that when you think of an application, you can think of, let's say, these stairs, okay, something like this. For now, you know that, okay, this will go here, this will go here, this will go here, okay. You think of your modules. It seeks to bring a mental picture so that you can be to think like an architect or an engineer or as a professional, okay. So as I'm saying, this is my first time to share this. Okay. Obviously, I'm going to refine it. I think with time it's going to have some versions. Okay. I'm going to improve it as I am working on it. I hope you have enjoyed the tutorial and at least now you get an idea of there is another way of doing things. Okay. Maybe if following tutorials they don't really take you to where you want to go, okay, there is a different way, okay, learning to think about code, okay, creating mental models, writing theories that will help you to understand what you are doing. So you can use the math pattern as a foundation, okay, to help you to really think about React application. Obviously I had an idea of I will continue with this, okay, so that I can also design some sort of an application and then, but I can see that this is already like longer. So if maybe you might want to meet up with me, I have got a coaching course, okay, which is plus minus 630 US dollars, okay. In South African rand it's only 12,000. It's a 10-hour coaching course. You feel free to click here on the discovery call. Okay, click here on the discovery call. Let me know who you are, what you do, and how you want me to help you. Okay, the discovery call, I will understand your problem specifically instead of telling you that, okay, here is a course, watch it, and there are some things you might want to ask, okay. So also you understand things differently. So here, the discovery call is for free. We're just going to engage and I will want to understand how you think, what the problem that you're trying to solve, so that I can take you to exactly where you want to go. I am Matthew Msingati, the designer and developer from South Africa. I'm the best of both worlds. I'm the hybrid and I am the greatest of all time. I hope you've enjoyed the video and I hope it has helped you to some sort of bring clarity. All the best in this year. Let's get those front end job. God bless you.